Hi everybody, today we are going to be making a really cute chameleon. And to set up our paper so that our chameleon will fit properly, we are going to make some guidelines by folding our papers. So I'm going to take my paper and I'm going to fold it in half just like I would to make a card. And what I'm doing is I'm lining up these edges, I hold it down, then I use my other hand to come out, then I go out to the side, and it gives me a nice neat fold that usually keeps it lined up pretty well. Then I'm going to open my paper back up. Right now, my paper is folded in half. The next fold that I'm going to make is folding it in half again, but the long way, so I should end up with a really wide, long triangle. And again, I hold where the edges are, pull towards me, out to the side, and that tends to work really well. So when my paper is opened back up, and it's a little hard to see on the video, but you'll be able to see that I have 4 equal rectangles. Just so that you can see my folds a little bit better, I'm going to trace them with a crayon. You do not need to trace yours because you'll be able to see yours a bit better in person than compared to in the video. All right. Now that we have our guidelines set up, we're going to start drawing our chameleon. So you probably want to use pencil first just in case you make a mistake. I am going to use a marker so that you can see my lines a bit better. One of the things that I'm going to do, and we're going to make the head first, is this section I am going to make a dot about halfway down, right about there, right on the fold, and I'm going to make a similar spaced from the middle dot right there. I'm going to connect these dots with a nice curve. Then I'm going to trace my fold and trace my fold. So I almost have a quarter of a circle, although mine looks a bit more ovalish, and that's okay. Next, we're going to draw the body for our chameleon. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to start a little bit down from the top of where that head is. I'm going to curve up and then down to the line. Then I'm going to come back to the line. So I have followed the fold that's on the middle of my paper. Our next part of the chameleon that we're going to make is his cute little tail. And we're going to start right from his bottom. We are going to come out, down, and around. Okay, so it almost looks a little bit like a 6, but that you didn't finish it. Then I'm going to do the same thing, but a little bit higher. I'm going to come out, and I'm following that shape. And then I curve it at the end. All right, now we have the basic shape of our chameleon, and now we're going to add some of those details. So our chameleon is going to need some feet, and we're just making a simple one. So we're going to give him a leg and a foot there, and then we will come out here. We will give him a leg and a foot there, and if you want to add some little toes, you sure can, because they do have toes that grasp on pretty well. Next, we are going to add an eye, and chameleons have those eyes that they can move around a bit, and so I'm going to make a big circle to start. Then I am going to put a smaller circle. Inside that smaller circle, though, I'm going to add a tiny circle and then an even smaller one And I'm going to color that in, so that kind of makes the shiny part of our chameleon's eyes, if you look at it that way. Alright, our chameleon is also going to have a tongue sticking out. Maybe he's catching some flies this morning. And it's going to be very similar to our tail, but we're not going to make it any thicker. So we're just going to make a line coming out and up and a swirl. Then on our chameleon, we're going to add some stripes. I am adding straight stripes. You can add, if you want them to have zigzag stripes, you can absolutely do that, or curved stripes would be fine. I am also making those stripes go all through the tail, so I'm going to continue that pattern all the way down and around. Alrighty, now that our chameleon has a little bit of a texture or a pattern to him or her, could go either way, we're going to add a branch, like our chameleon is going for a little walk. So our branch is not going to be perfectly straight, so I'm going to make kind of a wiggly line. It is going to go just below that belly. And then I'm going to make a second wiggly line. Out here, I'm going to have it start a little bit wider, and then it's going to skip behind the tail and the legs, and then it's going to get a little bit thinner at the end. So this would be the end closer to the tree. This would be the end farther away. And I can add a little branch coming off. And then what I'm adding now is a leaf, and I'm leaving the end open right here because I'm going to make that where the leaf attaches to our branch. And if you want to do that part first, you absolutely can. You just kind of make a long stretched out triangle. And then you add your leaf shape. And in this picture, maybe we will add a sun farther away, but it'll just give us something interesting in the background. And I'm doing rectangles, not just lines, because that will give me something to color in. If you just want to do lines, you are absolutely welcome to do it that way. It is really up to you. And now I have my chameleon on a branch with a couple of leaves and my sun in the background. So next, it's time for me to start adding color. At this point, I have finished coloring my picture, and you will notice that I did a pattern in my chameleon's body and tail. So I did essentially the whole color wheel, but I have some different colors than you may have at home. So if you want to do a different kind of a pattern, that's absolutely fine. So this is like a yellow green, I have a yellow orange, I have a red orange. But if you only really have access to the primary colors or your basic colors too, that's fine. You could even make it go green, yellow, green, yellow, green, yellow if you want, or you could do an ABC pattern. It's really up to you. One thing I want to point out is that I colored the entire sky. I didn't just leave it white because I really wanted it to look like that branch was way up high and he was hanging out, getting a little sun, getting warm today. So, I hope you enjoyed creating your cute chameleon with me today, and stay tuned for some more videos.